Hello, my keto peeps. It's Samaya and welcome back to my channel, I Don't Sugarcoat. Today, I'm going to show you guys how to make keto tortillas. So let's get started. Today's video is sponsored by Wholesome Provision. They're a company located here in the US and they specialize in making keto-friendly products, two of which are now staples in my keto kitchen, and that is their Lupin Flour and their allulose sweetener blend. Visit their website today and check out their catalog of products. I'm certain there's something on there for everybody, from their pre-made goods to their baking needs. I will leave a link for their website in the description of this video. Now let's begin today's recipe. To begin, we're going to start off with adding our ingredients to a food processor. I find this to be the easiest and fastest way to get this recipe done. In my bowl here, I have half a cup of some Lupin flour. Next, I'm going to be adding a quarter cup of some wheat protein isolate, and I'm using the 8,000 version. To this, I'm going to add a quarter cup of some chickpea flour. Next, I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of some baking powder and 1 teaspoon of some salt. And now we want to pop on our lid and pulse this a few times to let it mix together. Now I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of some baker's lard. I'm using Leaf Lard here, so I'm going to be adding that to my flour. You can also do something like bacon grease if you don't mind that extra flavor. I find that that works as well. If you don't have some on hand, I know my local grocery store carries bacon grease, so you might be able to find it in your local grocery store if that's something you want to do. Now we want to pulse this until the dough is nice and crumbly. Now this next step is optional. Even though this is going to mimic a flour tortilla, I still like to add just a quarter teaspoon of Armour Ready sweet corn extract just to try to help balance out the flavor a little bit. But you can skip this if you want and see if you like it without adding this to it. Now I'm going to start off by, I have 8 tablespoons of water here. I'm going to start off by pouring in about 6 tablespoons. All right, and then we're going to pulse this until the dough forms. So my dough feels just a touch too wet, so I'm going to be adding 2 tablespoons of some Lupin flour here. But for you guys, I want you to reduce your water from 6 tablespoons to 4 tablespoons. Okay, so now my dough is perfect and it is ready to be weighed. And I like to make 6 to 8 tortillas with this batch. So your dough should feel a little tacky but not sticky. It should not stick to your hand at all. So I'm going to go ahead and peel all my extra dough here off the blades. So you want to weigh it, and then I just like to take out my phone, and depending on how many tortillas you want to turn this into, like if you want larger ones, you can make 4. If you want smaller ones, I like to do 8, medium, probably somewhere like 6. So I think today I'm just going to do 6. So I'm going to divide this real quick. So each one of my balls should be 46.5 grams. And once you get it weighed, once you get it to the perfect weight, you just want to shape it into a circle and set it down and keep going until you have 6 even balls of dough. Now that this is ready, I'm going to press my balls of dough between my tortilla press. This is a 10-inch tortilla press and I really love it. I also have an 8-inch one, but I find that that one was not big enough to always, meet my needs. So if you order one, I suggest going with a 10-inch at at least. So I'll leave a link for that in the description of this video. I'll also leave a link for these nifty parchment papers that are already cut into the shape of a circle. And I love using these when I'm making my tortilla chips. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link up here in this corner for you. And when I'm making tortillas, I just spray them. And the reason why I spray these, even though it's parchment paper, is like I said, the dough is a little tacky and we don't want it to stick. So I just spray it a little. And as you can see, it fits perfectly onto my tortilla press. And then I place my dough on it. And then I just push it down just a little so it doesn't roll or go anywhere. And then I spray another one. Place it right on top, close it, and give it a nice firm press. And there you go, a perfectly shaped tortilla. So I'm going to keep on going. And then when I'm done, we'll go ahead and get them into the skillet. With all my dough pressed, we are now ready to begin frying them in the skillet. And what I like to do is I just like to simply peel the paper gently off like so. Okay. And instead of taking this off, here's what I like to do, because sometimes they can come off the paper and sometimes, you know, I end up ruining my freshly pressed tortilla dough and I have to do it again. So I just like to take it, flip it over and lay it straight into my hot skillet. And I just press it down just a little. And what this does is it's going to allow it to peel right off the paper. A little bit got left on there. That's fine. Usually it peels right off though. So I'm just going to let this cook. And then I'm going to flip it over when it's ready. And I have this awesome big pancake spatula that I love to use when I'm making these. If you can find yourself one of these, pick one up because it's so amazing for pancakes, for making tortillas. It is perfect. Now, the only thing that I will say is these don't tend to bubble up like a normal tortilla would. And I think it's probably has something to do with the fact that it is a bean flour. I'm not exactly sure, but it doesn't tend to puckle up and get those nice air pockets. But it still gets good coloring, so there is that. So I don't even really get that caught up in the fact that the little air pockets don't develop. Okay, so here's tortilla number one. And what I do after I cook it is I like to stick it into this tortilla holder right here. And it keeps, for one, it helps to keep it warm, but it also helps to, it helps with the texture. I really feel like it helps with the texture. Instead of putting it on a plate when you take it right off, putting it in this really does help with the texture of the tortillas. So that's why I use that all the time. You're gonna wanna let these cook on the first side for about a minute to a minute and a half, and then on the second side for somewhere between 20 to 30 seconds. So here are my tortillas. They are done. It takes roughly about 12 to 15 minutes to cook them. Remember, you only want to cook them roughly 1 to 1.5 minutes on the first side. And then when you flip it over, you only want to cook it for about 20 to 30 seconds, because if you go past that, they're going to get really hard and whatnot. As you can see, it is bendable. They are very, very pliable. I like to store them in this, like I said, for a few hours because it does help with the texture of my tortillas. I feel they become really nice and soft and even more pliable than what they are now. And then I put them in a zip bag and I store them either at room temperature if I intend to eat them in the next day or so, or I store them in the refrigerator. For about this size, these tortillas are 2.8 net carbs a piece. I usually make these as an 8 count though, and they are just a little bit smaller in circumference. So if you want them to be smaller, do them, break the dough up into 8 pieces. The recipe is written for 8 pieces, so I am going to keep it that way because that's what I generally do with them. And I don't really need tortillas that big unless I'm doing something very specific, like making a burrito or something like that. So that's going to be it, you guys. These are my keto tortillas. I use them for making tacos and other things that maybe I'll show you later on this channel. But that's all. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button for me. If you want to see me make more videos like this, click that subscribe button and don't forget to ding that little bell so you can get notifications every time I upload a new video. And until next time, you guys, bye. Oh, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year's, everybody. I hope you enjoy your holidays with your families. Stay safe, and I will see you guys back after the new year. Bye.